room now.
Yeah.
I've never really watched a podcast with him with two ladies facing him.
Ooh.
And I saw in all the press,
Yeah.
he's like, I've had to defend him because I know him very well.
Yeah.
He's a misogynist, he's that, he's this. Have you ever seen an issue with him? I want to know, as a woman. Now you're on the camera, this is going to go out.
Go on, tell the world I'm horrible.
You're going to both have your opportunity.
Yeah.
From everything you've seen, edited, non-edited.
Yeah.
What was your issue or what's your non-issues
Well, the
with
first time I saw
Be
you
honest.
speak on something, I remember I wasn't really watching the TV. I just heard it in the background. It must have been on my phone, and I heard you say something, and I was like, "Is that guy Pakistani?" And then someone was like, "No." I was like, "He's definitely Pakistani." You were saying something that was very familiar for me. I'm Pakistani, so I was like, "He must be." And then I found out you grew up in Luton, so I was like, "That makes sense." Everything he says, I'm so familiar with it. I would expect nothing less. The men I'm around would think exactly the same way, so I don't find it shocking or misogynist. I'm raised like that.
But do you agree with it? That's not about what you're used to
Well,
now. I'm asking with what his stance is.
Yeah.
Do you agree as a woman? Because he gets a lot of backlash, but he made a good point.
Yeah.
I've been around him nearly every day sometimes.
Yeah.
I've never seen a woman in public come and say something bad. So
Right.
I want to know, who are these women? Is it a movement? I want to know, because I've never seen anyone say it to me.
I would say one thing. I would say sometimes it can be divisive. Like what we're saying, nice guys finish last, but sometimes nice girls do. And I think let's try and remove the division and focus on society rather than just men have this really bad. I get men have it really, really bad. But society is shit. Women have it bad in some ways, men have it bad. I think women are becoming more and more detrimental. I think that, but it's not really entirely their fault. It's the way society is now structured. So I think let's try and less this division and more how do we fix this? Because I want to see families. I want to see, and sometimes what happens is it's not you, but your followers. I always say your followers are this loser guy who's never had options, who now starts saying, fuck women, and it's like, but you haven't earned that day, so you can't speak like that because you haven't done the legwork.
She's dissing the war room, bro. She's dissing your Hustlers University, bro.
No. I get they're putting in the work though. They're in some way putting in the work, but it's the guy with not putting in the work who's just listening. The problem is when your message lands on men without money, they can't. It doesn't land properly because they're just saying, I want lots of women, I want lots of hoes, but it's like you can't fund those women and you can't get those women to submit to you, so you can't emulate Andrew Tate, but you want to, and so that's where we need to kind of educate them. In order to have your views, they have to have your lifestyle.
Valid.
Yeah.
That's very valid, and I feel like I do say it a little bit. But I need to say it more, but I say repeatedly that if you're
I
not,
hear
if
you
you're
say
not
it.
talk to your male,
Yeah.
you can't build life's up. And I agree with you about the divisive thing as well.
Yeah.
The only reason some of it comes across divisive, I think, is because a lot of the time, especially in America, I'm arguing against rabid feminists, right? So I'm trying to say, but no, that's a valid point.
That's the only issue.
Well, that's the only issue for me. Yeah.
Actually, Lubna, it's good you actually met. Lubna's the one who wrote an article backing us when we were doing that event here.
Yeah.
And as an Arab lady here, it was very good, empowering, because I've noticed one thing: the Western women don't like to feud with Arabic women who are educated. I've noticed that they fear them.
Yeah.
Like with Lubna, when she posts, I see her comments. There's not really anyone going against her with me. It's like, if you're this, you're scum. You've got a wife in a picture there without hijab. Your kids are this. Like I get this abuse because But Lubna, what was your issue with his whole cancel? Did you have an issue? What was your issue with Dubai in itself, or some Middle Eastern pockets of Middle Eastern women? This new generation are having an issue apparently online.
Look, I think that for you to be as famous as you are today, you had to do things in a certain way. You had to be extra controversial, and now you got here. You know, I think the reason a lot of the women were pissed off because it's kind of like you're just turning in the knife. You know what I mean? Telling them like, ooh, you know, we can do this. Like we've got and you can't. You know. So I think now that you do have that platform, you can actually be really helpful to a lot of women. Like I think a lot of women do agree with a lot of things that you said, and men, but they don't necessarily like the delivery because it's just a little bit like, you know, kind of like pissing off.
But it's an amazing platform to create because you won't believe how many racist little white boys are now saying, I want a Muslim girl to, I want a, and I'm like, ooh, look, you've completely eradicated Islamophobia. And it's something like Mo Salah did for a little while in Liverpool. Like they really actually became, and I think anything that, from my perspective, anything that can draw light to a faith that I feel really passionate about, I'm always grateful for whoever shines a torch on that. So
I won't even say it's young white boys, because if you go to Russia, the men are the same as me, the same as us, like Russia, East Europe, these kind of places, they're very alpha male, they're very old school, traditional.
Very
I think
traditional,
it's the Western, real
so
Western
Islam comes
pockets.
naturally to alpha men. It kind of is a natural transition because it teaches alpha kind of behavior anyway.
Like
so,